How I understood that I awakened what to do, because it was too good for me. I felt like each cell in my body is like overflowing with this joy, love, and happiness, and it was really so much. I actually awakened not once but twice.
Hi, Eva.
Hi, Laura.
Could you tell me a little bit about yourself?
My name is Yeva, and I'm 40 years old, and I'm from Lithuania, but been living in England for about 15 years by now. At the moment, I'm in Germany.
How did you awaken?
Yeah, it's a long story. Well, I actually awakened not once but twice. The first time was when I was 23 years old, and it happened from the big pain inside of me. It was psychological pain. I was in a relationship with my other part for around 3 years, and it was really heavy relationship, and it was going and it was happening day by day. This pain was growing and growing and growing and growing, and finally it was too much for me, and I awakened. It happened this way. I was just going down the street in a beautiful summer day. I remember the sun was shining in my face, and I was still feeling nice because of that. And the pain was bursting in my chest, and certainly I started to feel that something happening. I started to feel like everything what's happening around me changed somehow. At that moment, I couldn't tell what exactly, but I started to feel myself more spacious. I started to feel myself like part of everything that's happening around me, the part of the sky, the I remember the cars were passing by, and the sound of the cars was kind of extending myself, and was just well, like wow, it's like a part of me going away, and the birds flying past my head. I was also feeling that like they are part of me. The fluffing of the wings felt like almost a part of me is doing this fluffing. Yeah, it was really amazing, but I could not understand what is actually is happening. So I got a bit scared, but not really scared. Maybe the question appeared in my head. Maybe I went mad. And somehow I started to feel inside of me like the life inside of me is awakening. It's like awakening, and a little bit like a warm feeling inside of me, and it's just going through all my body, going through my veins, this nice warm feeling. And it's not just finishing inside of my body, this warm and nice feeling, it's extending. It's extending to, I don't know, infinity, kind of this feeling. So it was, I felt like I am this everything, which is outside of me and inside of me. And so I felt like I can communicate with this life, which is inside of me and outside of me. So I asked the life, am I all right? Or am I going mad? And at that moment, I was just passing by the casino, and I felt within me this impulse just to enter this casino and just find out it for myself if it's really happening or it's just my illusion. So I remember I never been in any casino before, and I didn't know how to play any games. But I did it. I went inside. I remember there was a huge building, very, very high ceilings, looked a very nice and old building. And lots of people were sitting there playing different games. And I came inside and I went around. I looked how people are playing and decided to stop. And I stand aside a little bit, and a man around 50 years old called me. He said, I see you just entered the casino. Maybe you will bring the luck to me. And he said, just sit beside me and let's see what's gonna happen. I said, okay. I sit beside him, and he was playing some kind of card game, which I don't know what kind of game. And I placed my hand above those cards, and I felt very nice, warm tingling from my hand. And I felt which card exactly he needs to open up. And he opened up and he won the game. And this way we've been playing for around a half an hour. And all the time he was winning. I was each time I was placing my hand and feeling that warmth, and he was winning and winning and winning. Then I felt that it's enough for me. I found out that it's really happening. It's really interesting things are happening. And I said, I said I will go already, and we said goodbye to each other. He gave me some money for that, and I never ever came back to casino because I felt with this experience I also felt that it's just for it's just to find out if it's really happening or not. So, and then afterwards I went to my grandma. I remember she opening the doors, as always, happy to see me, like, oh, hello, here's a tea for you, here's the biscuits, what else you want? And she started welcoming me as always. And then she started to talk, what's happening in her life, how does she feels. And I looked at her and I started to feel like I'm perceiving her not only as the body speaking, but actually I feel her all the way through, was all my inner self. So I kind of was perceiving not just with my eyes, with my ears, but it was all my body, like I was all open and kind of feeling her through. and I started to sense that underneath the words, something else opens up. Like I started to feel the life underneath the body, which is actually telling different things. It wasn't words, but it was just like, oh, I'm feeling lonely. I want more love. I want more care, and I was feeling that, and I was kind of reacting to those things that was coming from her with love and care, which is actually coming out of me without me doing anything. Just and I saw that her eyes becoming more calm, and she started to relax, and the communication started to be more kind of peaceful and still and happy, not like from the mind, but more kind of still and happy. Yeah. So it was the first awakening experience, which actually lasted 2 years. And through all those two years, I was feeling this life, kind of connection with this life within me, and we been communicating, and I was getting the hints how to go further towards my soul and go deeper within myself. The hints were like, don't criticize others, just like look and see how much things mind placing on the person. Like first time you see the person, you look how he looks like, and then you look what he wears, and you put your kind of judgments of everything, and then you get lost in that, and you can't actually perceive the person itself. Then when the person starts to talk, you also remember that you know someone before who is similar to that person, and you actually lost in your illusion of the past, which you're placing on the person, and you're not really seeing who is talking with you and what he's talking, because each word the person tells, you also have these associations with on each word that the person says. Like he says the lamp, and straight away in your head comes up the image of the lamp, and but the person might mean something else by that. Maybe he means another lamp, or maybe he wants just to tell you something else which goes underneath that. So I started to see this other world which was opening for me when you go beneath all these illusions that minds put the stamps on the people. Then you can start feel the real person, starting to sense this person's soul. Yeah, and after 2 years learning from the life, I went. I remember I went on the cruise ships for a couple of years, and there I understood that I can't go further like this. Because it was very intense, I was learning a lot from the life each day, and working on myself really hard. I remember one more thing was really funny. Don't lie to others, and I started not lying to others, and on a cruise ship, it was really funny because all the system there is based on the lying. You always have to lie to everyone about everything because you will lose your job. And I lost the job. And because I was telling all the time the truth. And so I got the lower kind of job. Just I had to be a cabin steward, and I became just the cleaner because of that. And I remember more I was doing things what life is opening for me to do. More kind of this energy of life going through me. And I felt really nice inside me. And at one point, I felt so good that I didn't know what to do with that because I was sharing with everyone all the time. I was doing my best, but I went to this place where I didn't know what to do because it was too good for me. I felt like each cell in my body is like overflowing with this joy, love, and happiness. And it was really so much. I remember I was lying on a floor in my cabin, and I felt like all the ship is part of me, and I felt all the people in that ship, and I felt so good. And at that point, I understood that. I didn't understood. It just came to me that if I want to go further this way, uh, like to know myself deeper and deeper, who I am really, I need to start sharing with others the knowledge how to other people to awaken. But I didn't have this knowledge, and I didn't know how to put this into words and how to help people to awaken. I actually didn't know even this word awaken. And I didn't meet any people like this before, so I didn't have to whom to speak. And I decided to come back to my mind and my feelings, to come back to the body because I was really like, I really became very spacious. Like, I asked life before doing that, I asked life that I want to come back to this path towards myself, maybe when I will be close to 40s, but already with the people who also going this path. After that, I went back into my body. It felt like I went into the box, and it was really funny because everything what I had around me sounded differently. Because before I was sensing everything with all my body, like all the sounds, all the colors, people. But when I went into my body, I started to sense everything much less. It was much less of everything. So yeah, how many years? Maybe 15 years passed. So all these 15 years, I was kind of half awakened. I still could feel things, sense things, but not as strong as before. And I knew how it is really to live in life, to live in God, really like fully. I was not living fully those 15 years, just touching a little bit the surface of that. So yeah, after those 15 years, I already wanted to come back to this path and was asking life each day that I want to come back. And I asked actually some around 2 years daily. I was living in that prayer each day that I want to come back. After that, my husband said to me, "Oh, look, there's a school of giving on internet. Actually, this time it was called School of Awakening." And I like, Awakening, that sounds strange. What is that? And I didn't want to look at this because nowadays everybody, everywhere, just making big things of nothing, just like I'm this and I'm that. And School of Awakening sounded for me really like puffed up out of nothing, and I didn't want to look at this. And then next day, my husband again, look, just look, what is this? I'm like, okay, well, I will look, because I felt like the life really asking me to do that step. And I looked, I listened to Awakening story of, I remember Anna Snitko and Yulia Krisa. Then I listened to all those awakened people stories of that school. And straight away I realized that actually what happened those 15 years ago, it was awakening for me. And those people went further, and I stayed where I am now. So straight away I wanted to start to study at that school, but I was in England and school in Russia. So I was thinking, oh, it would be lovely if something they could do online. And actually, couple of days after, maybe a week after, I got an email where they said that okay, like you can join our online course, and it was the first online course that they did. I was so excited. As now I remember, I was really glad that this happened. And this journey at that school started from that point. And it was funny because one more thing that I asked life was when I was 23 and I decided to come back to my body. The other thing that I asked to life was that the next time I want to awaken really slowly. Because this time it was really fast, spontaneous, and I want to experience this very slowly, gently. And when I came to school, to a given school, it actually was happening this way. I was slowly observing everything and awakening slowly. I actually can't even tell when exactly it happened, but how I understood that I awakened. We always had this kind of questionnaires at school, which asks you, "Did you awaken?" I remember one Sunday afternoon, I had to answer those questions, and I really couldn't say that I haven't awakened. I felt that I would lie. So I said yes. This way I understood that I awakened. Of course, I had loads of different experiences, like insights, and but they were happening all this year when I was at school, so I really couldn't tell which exactly point it happened. So, how long did I studied at school to awaken? Actually, it lasted for me 1 year, 1 year to awaken second time.